Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and I am a bit earlier than I am other days. But yeah, it's the last day of the year. It is almost New Year's Eve, so I won't take up your evening. So I'm pushing this out so you can watch this before you go to dinner or to celebrate with some friends, as I will do as well. It is the very last day of the year. It is also the very last day of my week of beer, week of Christmas and winter beers. But I thought I'd finish with something special. I got one of these bottles, and it used to be a flex to say you had one of these bottles, but nowadays they are very common. I think I have 12 of these bottles. But this is by Brasserie Dupont, with that we know and love from the Saison Dupont, so one of my favorite breweries. And this is the beer called Avec les Bons Voeux de la brasserie Dupont. We do abbreviate that to Bons Voeux. And this literally means with the best wishes of the brewery Dupont. Now the story behind this beer is rather fun. When I say this used to be a flex just to be able to say you had one of these bottles, I'm not exaggerating. They started brewing this beer in 1970, almost 50 years, well, 55 years ago. And Avec les Bons Voeux de la brasserie Dupont was actually their sort of holiday greetings cards. This beer is like a Saison, but it is brewed a bit longer, it's fermented a bit longer, it is also dry hopped, and it is 9.5% ABV. And they gave this very special beer, especially for Dupont, very special, to only their best clients. So having one of these bottles or some of these bottles meant that you meant something to the brewery. This was for the best clients, but also for friends of the brewers. So yeah, when I say it's a flex, it really was a flex. Nowadays you can buy them in many places, and you would expect that this would be a very expensive beer. It's one of the cheapest beers I have in my collection. I think you can get this anywhere from between $4.75 and €6.5 euros per bottle. So yeah, less than 10 euros per liter. So yeah, let's dive right in and have a taste. This beer is often described as vies en vettig, like dirty and greasy. We'll get into that in a moment. Now they have changed the label. It used to be a weird orange parchment-like label. I do like what they did with this label, just to make it more in tune with their other beers. As usual, branded muselet. I have quite a few of them here right now. Maybe I should start a glass or a container for these as well. Now, what I forgot to mention is that I had this bottle for a very long time. This is a 2023 one. But I think they have a shelf life of 5 years. Now, another thing that is special about this beer is that it is brewed with a selection of the Dupont house yeasts. They have several and they do combine them. Ooh. Very active, very lively. Beautiful straw yellow, rather pale straw yellow color. Some specks of yeast in there, but I've kept this bottle flat and I had some sediment on the side. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, but you'll have to cope with a bit of yeast in your glass. Nice thick head of foam, very heavy foam as well. Thick, creamy, a lot of bubbling going on. Now this is of course re-fermented in the bottle, and we can see that because this has been laying for a long time. Re-fermentation went quite well, nice and heavy. Very complex in the nose. I get a whole range from very fresh to bitter to acidic to even a bit hearty or salty, umami. But let's start at the beginning. I get a lot of grapefruit, a lot of zest, some orange, some lemon or lime. I also get like some savory notes, like tomato sauce, like passata. Also quite hoppy, quite bitter, very, very dry. But of course, the basis for this beer was already a saison, which is a very dry beer. And then they dry hopped that, they re-fermented that, they used a selection of yeasts. So yeah, the chances of this being a dry beer it are quite high. But this aroma is all over the place. Like I said, very like from bitter and dry to acidic to savory. I genuinely get the smell of some tomato sauce here, a bit of onion. That calls for a taste. Cheers. Yeah. Very highly carbonated, but the taste, the flavor profile is at least as complex as the nose. Yeah, first off, a lot of carbon dioxide, of course. Quite bitter, quite well, very hoppy, but it is dry hopped. It is dry hopped with some very classic hops, I think. Because of that dryness, that bitterness, I get a whole lot of grapefruit peel. Still quite savory. Like I said, people often describe this as greasy, dirty, nasty, but when they say that, they do mean that in the best sense possible. And this beer is actually pretty much everything I look for in a beer, meaning dirty, greasy, and yeah, I love this. Yeah, but it's so spread so wide. Here too, a bit savory, a bit of umami. Less acidic, but I still get a bit of lime in there. No longer tomato sauce, but I do get a bit of onion in there. Yeah, this is just such a beautiful, well-made beer. And honestly, if I would get one of these back in the days as a business relation for Dupont, I would be very proud and very happy. And at this price point, I think I paid €5.30 for this bottle, or at least for this year's bottles, and that was on the steep side. I've seen them online for €6.95, €7.50, sometimes €10. You're being screwed over if you pay 10 for this. But I have seen it today in a drink center for €4.70, I believe. So I don't know how they do it. And when we get to the after flavor, it's a bit dimmer, but it's mainly dry and bitter with that savory part. So it's actually everything I just mentioned in the overall flavor profile, but all at once and in balance, which is weird. I didn't expect that to be possible. Yeah. Okay, that all being said, let's make a verdict. I think this is one of the, I want to say, best beers I've ever had. I have had some 475s in my career. One of them being Trignac by Van Onsenbroek, for example. I think this is a 475 as well, although I don't want to be arrogant and say this is one of the best beers. I truly believe so, but this is one of the best beers for me. And I do want to emphasize that it's not because I think something is fantastic and awesome to my taste that everyone should think so. I do want everyone to recognize the sheer mastery in this beer, as well as their other beers, of course. But this is another prime example of how well they master their process, their brewing, and how well they know what they are doing. So yeah, I'm gonna get ready to leave to some friends. I will be bringing this bottle and probably a spare one as well, just as a treat. And yeah, I hope you guys can get your hands on one or two of these as well, and let me know what you think about it. So this is for me an easy 475. That all being said, for the last time this year, and thank God I am over this madness, so many beers, so little time. But thank you guys for sticking with me. We didn't hit 250 subscribers today. However, of course, I'm still gonna give away that bottle. But let's do that somewhere next week. Give me some time to recover. However, of course, tomorrow is a holiday, the 1st of January, starting the year with a festive beer. I think that is an absolute must. So I will see you guys again tomorrow with a very festive limited edition beer that I've been looking out for quite some time. Okay, if you guys like this video, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or remarks. If you want to contact me, email address is down below, as well as all my social stuffs. And yeah, I'd say I'll see you guys again tomorrow. But before that, have a very beautiful New Year's Eve with the ones you love, and just party hardy. Cheers.